Hi everyone. Well, here's my Pro Pointer. I actually had it packed up and ready to ship back, and I said, you know, I need to make this video first. So I cut the box open, I'll seal it up, and maybe get it out of here today because it's going to take several days to get down to Texas. But anyway, so what I told you guys was, let's see if it'll do it. See, it didn't turn on. The light's still not on, right? Okay, that time it did. Now watch, it'll make a liar out of me. Okay, here's where it almost always fails. If you're down in a hole, and because this thing, the way it works is this, if you don't know already, sorry if I'm repeating myself, some of you don't know, this thing sensitizes metal all the way around and across the tip. Okay, so here's what happens here. Oh, see, now it's doing it differently. See that? You saw it stop. It didn't run that time. See that? Didn't turn on. So anyway, what's happening, especially when I'm deep in a hole and I get to the bottom of the hole and this thing stops turning on. It won't desensitize. If you don't know how to do that, I'll explain it another time. Anyway, I'll just do it now. If this thing, when you turn it on, it has a certain distance it works at. Okay? I mean, you're not looking for tape measures in the ground, but see that distance? Now, if this is all covered with dirt and you don't know where it is in the hole, you can desensitize it by putting it close to the object and turning it on again. See, it worked. Now this time, it won't turn on until you get way closer. See that? That's desensitizing. It's actually adjustable. Not everybody knows that this can be adjusted. Some other brands have external switches. So anyway, what usually happens is when I try to recalibrate it or desensitize it, let's see, where's the LED for you guys? It won't do it. It'll just shut off. Yeah, see? It just shut off. See that? Try that when you're in the bottom of a hole trying to dig for something and it won't turn on. It literally won't turn on. It's like, God. So it's actually been doing that. It just started a couple weeks ago. I've only had this since just after Christmas. Okay, there it worked. See, anyway, so best case it's intermittent. And when you're in the field, you're digging for something. Oh, there's another thing it does. Okay, let's see if I can. Do I have anything made out of non-metallic? The other thing that happens is, okay, it's on. Okay, there's no metal in my hand, right? Okay, what the hell's that about? So here's what happens. I get to the bottom of a hole and it tells me the object right in the bottom of the hole, right? Which is, means I'm digging in the right direction. And I start pushing on it and it starts beeping. Now I can't obviously replicate it very well here, but see that? I'm not pushing very hard and it starts beeping. So you're in the bottom of a hole pushing in the dirt and it says it's right there. So you dig some more, you dig some more, you dig some more. It's like you're chasing a ghost. You're chasing a phantom. It's crap. So anyway, I have to send this back. It's not cracked. It's not dropped. I've changed out the battery. The battery voltage is all over 9 volts. It's in good shape. So anyway, I wanted to show you guys how this operates. Now this is a great tool. I love it. It just it has an issue. So the great people in Texas need to work on this and get it fixed. I know somebody that has one that is damaged, and I'd be thrilled to repair it and just tear it apart. It'd be kind of fun. All right, so I'm going to grab a sip of water. I guess I'm not. The other thing that I was going to show you guys was, I keep talking about my crap shooter. Yeah, this is it. Make your own if you want. It's a lot of work, but it's a good tool. Okay, so we'll start. It's about 3 inches. I'm sorry. It's about 3 inches. the lower section is. The upper section is 3.5. So you have to put a taper in it. I'm going to break something if I'm not careful. So you have to cut a great big wedge out of the side and then weld it all back up, grind the outside and grind the inside. But probably the biggest improvement was all these teeth I cut into it. You can see that these 3 teeth here, or maybe you can't, they're kind of big, and then the rest are small. I used a different tool for that. It just didn't work very good, although I like them wider. I used an angle grinder and it's a 16th inch wheel, so it made 16th inch slots. Next time I'll use a 3/32 or 1/8 inch wheel on these slots. So what happens is, this thing's almost touching the ceiling. It's heavy. Well, it's kind of heavy. You put it in the ground and you don't twist it. That's really hard on your wrists and stuff because I've got carpal tunnel. So what you do is you rock it in a circle. The end of the handle is going around in a circle. And what that does, it's like a gear reduction. This thing starts walking around. So if you spin the handle the other direction, it spins it this way. And the whole time it's going jig, 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 jig. It's digging right down because of these teeth. I added this teeth a few days ago, and it adds a different sound. You can hear the roots and stuff getting ripped and torn and cut. Before it made no sound at all. So I think this is more effective the way it is. This is really tall too. Shit, this thing's like 7 1/4 here and 9 inches on the other side. There's a guy here in town somewhere that was making something a lot prettier than this, but he doesn't sell them anymore, and they were just over $100. For a good tool, that's okay. His was all chrome and real pretty, but it was a lot shorter, and it had a step that tilted down here if you needed it to put your foot on it to shove the cup even deeper in the ground. So anyway, I don't have any of that because I don't need it. So I got a bunch of weld here, and it's a lot of work, this bad boy. So what I do with this thing is I hang it, I literally drag it behind me on the ground. I literally drag it on the ground right behind me. And you don't feel the weight because you're not carrying anything. You're just carrying the handle here. So next step is get a bicycle grip, put it right there. I mean, I don't need one, but I'll probably put one on here anyway. Put a bike grip on there. Most of the time I carry it by the curve, and this thing drags behind me because what happens is when you're sweeping, if you sweep 180 degrees in front of you with your metal detector, and this thing, the cup is over on one side, it'll go bloop. Every time you go over there, bloop, so you have to drag it behind you. Now, the other guy that made this, sorry I don't know his name or anything about him, but his was only 24 inches long, which means it never touched the ground when you carried it by the handle. So you had to always carry this 3-pound object in your hand the whole time. I'm like, doesn't work for me. This thing, when you put it on the ground and you're only holding the handle, it can't be a 1/2 pound. It can't be. So anyway, sorry, I keep looking at me rather than the camera. Anyway, this thing works really good. You know, you can make your own. It's a ton of work, but it's great for parks, you know, places with grass and sod and stuff. This bad boy makes a perfect tapered plug. So once you have your plug in here, you flip it upside down and you just push the plug out, and you have this perfectly round plug. And you take your Pro Pointer and you go around the plug and see if you got it. If you didn't, and it's right next to it, which happens to me all the time, it'll be right next to the hole I just cut. You cut a second hole right next to it, and you overlap them just a little. And what that overlap does is that when the second plug comes out of the ground, it'll have a curved face on it from the first plug. So it's like a puzzle. Once you get your target out, you drop that piece of sod back in, and you drop the next one right next to it. And it fits like a puzzle. You step on it, nobody knows you were there. Nobody knows. It rocks. So this guy's idea was really good. I liked it a lot. So I made this one for me, and I've got parts for a second one, but I don't know if I need to make any major tweaks. I don't want to, build that second one yet. Anyway, his had some different choices in it, and it was all chrome plated, so it was pretty as hell. And it had a bike grip. This is 3/4 inch EMT, which happens to be the same outside diameter as a handlebar. So you can put a bicycle grip on it. You soapy water on it, slide it on, it dries, it's there forever. and I'll do that. But I deburred the end of this so there's no sharp edges. But when I drag it, I always drag it by the curve section. So I don't know, man. This is it's a good tool for, I live in a big city, at least for now, and it works like a charm. Some guys use the small shovels, the standard garden shovels. You can use whatever you like. The problem is where I live, you've got to be careful. If you piss off the wrong people, I suppose, digging holes in the ground, you attract bad attention. This thing is, it just doesn't look like a shovel. And when people come over, they're always coming over. You just show them what you're doing, and it's so clean, it's so neat, So anyway, what else is going on here? Yeah, I love this. I love this tool from Garrett. I think it's a great tool. I just wish it worked like it was supposed to. What I was thinking of doing, I'm going to get a new one, right? It'll come in the mail next week, maybe. What I was thinking of doing is getting some of that, what's it called? That dip stuff. You guys know what I'm talking about. I was actually thinking of dipping the entire thing. The whole thing. Dip the entire thing, maybe even 2 coats. Because, a lot of people put tape and stuff over the speaker holes and things like that, and over the switch and stuff, and I thought, you might fortify this a little more by, dipping the whole thing. What about the LED? Yeah, when the sun's gone down, but it's not dark yet, you know what I mean? The LED actually kind of makes a difference, so maybe you don't use the LED, or you could cut it open. The LED has a little gasket on it. I've seen one of these taken apart. It has a gasket behind it to help keep it water resistant. But if you dip this thing in that stuff, the only flaw you'll have is when you change the battery. You just probably have to take a razor blade, cut through the dip stuff, pull it apart, change the battery, put it back, and then just re-dip the end. I don't know. That's what I thought about. You can dip it any damn color you want. I mean, black is good with me. Any color. Maybe a brighter color so you can find the stupid thing easier. Everything I have with regards to metal detecting is basically, except for that thing, it's all colored black. So, maybe you want something bright colored so if you forget it or whatever, it depends on your age and your degree of senility. Anyway, I think that was it. I think that's all I was going to do for today, because I'd kind of like to get this thing in the mail. Yeah, so that'll do it. If you guys have any questions about this thing, so let's see. Because I'm not going to make any money off this stuff, but just so I'll tell you what's in it. This is 3/4 inch EMT from wherever you get it, anywhere. Electrical conduit, and then this piece of steel used to be a perfectly round piece of just steel rod. It was 1 inch. I had to turn it down to 8/20 so it fit inside here. This piece goes, and it goes like clear up to here. And it's not a press fit, but it's a snug fit. And then I flattened one side of it, ground it down so it would fit on here, and a buddy of mine welded it all up. I'm not a welder. Well, I can weld, but I don't have a welder. So he welded it all up. It's not cracked, hasn't done anything. It's been great. And so there is, look at that. Isn't that beautiful? I wish those were a little deeper, but they did a good job. They did a great job. So anyway, that's it, folks. I'm going to call it good. I'm going to run this thing to the post office. Run this thing to the post office and see what happens. There is a lady in a group over here that has a broken one. So I'm going to see if I can talk her into selling it to me. I'd like to see what the insides are like. I've seen on YouTube videos, you can see it, but shoot, to have a spare, even if it was semi-working, would help, because not having a Pro Pointer makes detecting, you have to be very accurate. And with this tool, you actually have to be especially accurate, like way more accurate, because you're only shooting a 3-inch hole. Shovels, you can cut them pretty much as big as you want. And, if I'm out in a field, like at my buddy's house, I use a big old spade shovel because he doesn't care. And I fill the holes in every way anyway, but it's not in a public park where you can get your ass chewed, you know. So, not that I'm saying that's happened, but if we require permits here in San Jose, then, you know, somebody's obviously screwed up. Anyway, that's it. See ya.